So this is the instructions for the swim on the 24th of January, which is one of the days when I'm unlikely to be there. So it may be that somebody else writes a session for this, which is absolutely fine. But if there is no other session written, then this is one that you can go with. Kit, they're going to need a pull buoy and the hand paddles, preferably those little finish-shaped ones that are pointed at the front, fin on the back, and the little rubber hoop. And when we're using those, just like in last week's session, we're just going to encourage them just to put them just over the middle finger, so the hand paddle is pretty floppy under the hand, meaning that they can't drop the wrist as they go into the water or do the pull, otherwise it will fly off. This session is focusing on hand entry and catch, and because we're in January, we remain in the base period, so it's all done at a pretty easy pace. We are going to have a pretty standard warm-up there. I don't think there's anything that really needs explaining. This last 100 meters, this last 100 meters of the warm-up is 4 times 25 meters, last in, first out. So they are going to swim one length, wait for the last people. They can go in pairs for this. Each length starts nice and easy and crescendos to and it winds up finishing hard. I mean 8 out of 10, not an eyeballs out sprint, because they're not fully warmed up yet. We don't want any injuries from the warm-up. Thank you very much. Okay, we are doing in the technique, as we said at the top of this is all about hand entry and catch. We worked on the catch a little bit last week, so the focus this time is really going to be moving towards that hand entry. So we're going to actually revise, and we're going to be when we're coaching this, we're going to be making sure that we've got a middle finger hand entry into the water, middle finger first, not thumb. If the thumb goes in first, it internally rotates the shoulder, which is a key reason why people get shoulder injuries in swimming, in freestyle swimming anyway. The internal rotation puts additional pressure on the rotator cuff. We've got overuse or relatively high load while swimming freestyle because of the repetitive nature of the stroke, and it means there's not a lot of space within the rotator cuff underneath the acromion there in the shoulder, so everything kind of gets minced together. So nice middle finger entry, so the palm is relatively level with the water, so we've not got tilt there. Okay. We're going to do some polo again. We did polo last time. We're going to do a full length polo with pull buoy. We're not going to use the hand paddles for this. We're just going to do 25 meters of polo, followed by 25 meters of pull. We're going to encourage during the 25 meters of pull to maintain that nice high cadence. It's quite hard work. This is probably one of the hardest drills. And then after we've done 450s like that, we're going to just use the pull buoy, and we're just going to do 100 meters of pull, trying to maintain that cadence, that style, hands always moving, no dead spots in the stroke, maintaining pressure on the water like we did from last week. It's revision from last time. Then we're going to do 450s as one length 616, which again they've done a couple of weeks ago with fins, obviously. Well, you can do it without fins, but it's really quite hard. So we're going to do 616 for a length, and then we're going to swim back as freestyle. And what we're looking for here is retracted shoulders for alignment. So we don't want to hunch. If we hunch, then during our 616, our leading arm will drift across the midline. So we want nice shoulders back, chest out, shoulders back, to encourage that great alignment in the water. When they do the single stroke in 616, the stroke is brisk and intentional with a definite hand entry, talking about middle finger, we talk about spear the fish, so you can tell them to spear that fish during the hand entry. So a nice brisk intentional hand entry, not lackadaisical, slow, lazy. Okay, and this drill is in there to set up the next one, which is broken arrow, which is the progression drill from 616. In between the 616 and the broken arrow, again, we're going to do, going back to whole part whole, we're going to do 100 meters pull without fins. Just for the record, we don't use pull and fins ever at the same time. So we're going to do then 4 50 metres with fins, and we're going to do 25 metres as broken arrow drill and 25 metres as full stroke. So broken arrow drill is we pause on the side, the arm goes perpendicular to the body. I've not got a wide enough field of view to demonstrate it right here. The arm points straight up at the ceiling while the swimmer is on the side, and they hold it there for a couple of seconds, and then the elbow bends, that's the breaking of the arrow, and then spear the fish as they spear and rotate into the stroke. And then we've got a full length front crawl on the return, encourage them to maintain that style of a very definite, intentional hand entry into the water, middle finger first, spearing the fish. And then again, we're going to do 100 metres of pull. We're going to encourage them to, again, swim that 100 metres of pull with an open chest, shoulders retracted, great posture, leading arm in the water is always ready for the catch. Don't let that wrist or elbow drop. If the shoulders on your athletes are hunching, you may well see during these drills that that leading arm, especially during the side kick phase of these drills, will drift across the midline. So watch out for that. So we can give them a bit of a, shoulders back, chest open. So watch out for that one. Moving on to the main set, as I said, we're still in the base period, so all of this is done at a pretty lowish perceived exertion rate, easy to moderate. Obviously, as we progress through these endurance type sets, as we get towards the end, if the pace is maintained, it's going to feel harder. So you might encourage them to start at an easy, like a 3 out of 10. And if they were to maintain the pace, they would find that naturally that RPE will increase. So we want to keep that at most a kind of tempo type moderate pace by the time they're finishing this. This is a descending ramp. It's just a question of mixing up the distance at this stage to keep things a bit fresh. So all I've done here is a descending ramp in terms of the number of lengths. So for instance, lane 3 there, as you swim 8 lengths, then 7 lengths, then 6 lengths, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and so on. Lane 6, depending on what time you go into this, you might want to start lane 6 with either 11 lengths, which will give you a total distance of 1,650, or if you've got enough time to play with, you could start one with 12 lengths, but obviously that adds on 300 meters, so you're going up to almost 2 kilometers there. So you're going to be needing, at their pace, I would expect you're going to be needing, with the rests between, you're going to be needing 35 minutes, I would think, in that lane. So it all depends on how long the drills take. I suspect you'll be starting with 11. The only thing to note here is that lane 4, due to the maths, they do, instead of starting with 9, they do 8 twice. So it's 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If we start with 9, then it's an odd number of length, and they will finish at the other end of the pool. The cool down is built into this. So what I suggest is when you get down to the 2 lengths, right down at the bottom, you've done 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When you get to 2, do the 50 metres, the 2 lengths, as either breast or backstroke, or one of each, doesn't matter. And then the final 25 metres is a nice, easy cool down freestyle before you get out. And that concludes the 24th.